welcome to Pre-Match Focus with your host, me, Tim.
And me, Lee. And today's show is sponsored by DSFG. The description is in the link below. Keep an eye on it for your 20% off on hoodies. How you doing, mate? Right?
Yeah, I'm all right, mate. You?
Yeah, not too bad. It's back to twice a week with the predictions, isn't it? Again, feeling like a championship week.
No, it's mad though. But
we might as well just start covering that.
It's nice though. I'm not going to complain about two lots of Premiership fixtures in a week. I do like it.
Yeah, I do prefer. I mean, like Wolves are away in the week. Even though a night under the lights watching football's great, also it's just like rushing about and there, isn't it? So I'm sort of glad we're away in the week and not in the cold. I mean, it hasn't been too bad down there.
To be honest, it's warmed up a lot, to be fair.
Yeah, it has been rather mild this week so far. Well, I say this week, we've only just started it, but in the last few days.
I just want to apologise for the fact that one looks like Casper the Ghost and one looks like he's got jaundice. Because it's all about our lighting structure, where we're actually currently positioned. So, but Leeds is looking far better than usual, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, the lighting's probably actually worked there, so I'm probably really pink at the moment in the face. I'm in my daughter's room as well, so it's a good job this screen's keeping it up. Because it is very pink in here.
What do you mean you're not at the match?
I'm waiting on my own. It's a sleeping.
Right then, we're going to say we've got Tuesday the 14th, Wednesday the 15th, and Thursday the 16th of December, which are tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday as we record this. So we're going to start off with the 7:30 kickoff on tomorrow night, which is Brentford and Man United, if they play, Lee.
We hope so. I mean, we can't keep having these big boys having the little breaks, can we? Now, so. Yeah, hopefully it goes ahead because it could be quite a good game. Could be one of the most entertaining games in the week, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, Brentford just like to go for it at home, don't they? And I mean, Man U have got to perform a lot better, in my opinion, on what they did against Norwich. Pretty poor from their standard, but
it was a poor game. Norwich completely battered us, to be honest. I was quite embarrassed, but we're keeping clean sheets. So once it starts forming and they get a bit more confident and probably a bit fitter as well, to be honest, to be able to play in this kind of structure and formation, then I think if Man U let on the way that they did with Norwich against Brentford, I think they will concede though. Because I agree. They're far more clinical up front than Norwich are.
I say Mbeumo's a nuisance, isn't he? He continues to impress me. Just he's probably not the biggest goal scorer in the world, but he just creates problems all the time. He's just busy bee, isn't he, up top?
It's dangerous every time.
No pun intended. Yeah. But Man U have got to improve big time. I expect that they will. I think they'll have to pick themselves up for this. Maybe they underestimated what Norwich would have given to them, and got lucky to get that win in the end.
Yeah,
I'd say I think it was a clumsy penalty to give away, but I'd say Ingame it did look like a penalty the way he went. I mean, when you look at the replay a little bit more, it was a bit more like, is he looking for that? But in real time, I can understand why the ref gave it, because he did look like he actually dragged him down. So, I think, and Ronaldo's got probably in a better performance. I don't think I've ever seen him so bad.
I've never seen him so ineffective, to be honest.
Yeah, it was just miscontrolling the ball, everything, wasn't he? And
he was getting heckled by the Norwich fans. I know that much.
That's right. Well, when he made one of his first, obviously he was only about 18 at the time, but when he first come down Molineux, he was getting a bit of stick off the fans. So he's only about 3 games in his Man United career, but you could see it was winding him up a bit because the fans love to jump on, what would be a star player. Obviously, he probably wasn't Man U's star player then, but he was obviously an attraction. So when we give a bit of stick to the the bigger players, then I think it does sometimes affect them. Some of them can just brush it off and destroy you, but I think we did it a bit with Salah. I mean, to be fair, I know Salah set up the goal against Wolves for Liverpool, but we kept him fairly quiet in that game. You know, I think I won't say we affected him in terms of giving him a bit of stick, but he wasn't half of what you see most weeks on it. But yeah, I've gone for United to win 2-1 on this one. I think I expect a much more improved performance if it goes ahead. And I'll just add on my tip there because it's 2-1. I've gone for both score, no draw.
Both score, no draw. Happy days.
The old favourites straight in there.
Yeah, first one. You are keen tonight.
That's the only one I've gone for. That is, you're right.
Well, I've gone with 2-1 Man United. So we start off with one apiece. Happy days. Right, let's go on to the 15-minute difference with the 7:45 kickoff, which is Norwich with Dean Smith hosting his old club Aston Villa. Gerrard.
Be a bit of a weird one for Smith, and it's so soon. Though obviously not going back to Villa Park, but against his old players. So
I bet he's quite glad he's not at Villa Park.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, Villa they could win anywhere at the moment. I know they probably didn't heckle Liverpool as much, by the sounds of what I heard on that game. But it was mainly all Liverpool, really. But what do you expect?
Yeah, exactly.
But you know, if it weren't for the penalty, they might have took a point away from there. Bit of a clumsy challenge by Mings going into it, but I think Smith's got to utilise the fact that he knows these players. I know it's under probably a different type of tactic under Gerrard, but
I was thinking this.
Yeah,
I was thinking the benefits to it being so soon are the fact that he knows all them players. We've not had a January transfer window. It's not like I think he can pull a result out of you.
I've gone for them to get a draw here. I've gone for 1-1. Yeah, 1-1 as well.
No, 2-2.
Oh, 2-2.
Yeah.
I think the reason why I'll go with 1-1, I think they've got to start scoring more goals around the pitch, so I can't just rely on Pukki all the time, really. I mean, he seems to be like a fine wine in his way. He sort of I might have mentioned it before, he sort of reminds me of Vardy with his movement, getting the right places. Yeah, Vardy's a lot more clinical, but Pukki gets the chances. Yeah. But yeah, they need to start.
He was brilliant in the Championship too, first time round. So, yeah, I think he's a good one. But I think the fact that Todd Cantwell, oh, I'm on it today.
Goals from Cantwell.
Oh, blimey, running away from my brain. Right, Todd Cantwell being back in the fold a bit more, obviously under Dean Smith. I think he looked all right against United, you know, and I think he is a threat. He carries the ball slightly like Jack Grealish does, to be honest. So I don't know. I fancy.
But that's what they need to add in there, because you look at the middle three that they have. Like Kenny McLean seems to be your typical hard-working Scottish midfielder, and then Lys Malou seems to have a little bit of box-to-box, but I haven't seen enough of him yet for me. I mean, like, people do rate him, but I haven't seen enough. But makes me think he's a bit of a game changer for them. Rashik has been quiet in terms of goals, but I know he has got ability to unlock defences and that. But he's not really played that much, has he?
No,
in recent weeks. I don't know whether he's injured or anything like that, but yeah, they could do with starting Cam. I'd start him for this game because they need to get at them, and you know, they need to stop being a bit negative in terms of what they're putting in the middle of the park, because you know, I say the same thing down Wolves. I mean, if you play a middle three of Dendoncker, Matinho and Neves, there's none of them you class as an attacking midfielder.
No.
Dendoncker can get in the box aerially, but he's not good enough to go like how you would say like Campbell or Grealish should take on defence. So they need to be a bit more positive, and maybe if they can get the right player in January to play in that position, then, or if you can play Rashika behind the striker, you know, just I think they need to be a bit more effective down the middle.
Yeah, I agree. Because thing is, you look at it, and especially for this game, if there's anywhere on the pitch that they can use someone like Cantwell to be slightly effective, this is the game.
Yeah, definitely.
David Luiz, not David Luiz. What's
You're off again.
I'm doing it again.
Douglas.
Douglas Luiz and John McGinn. They're prone to slightly reckless challenges, so you get in that area where you're getting into like free kick fodder, then that's where there's a chance of even having like the odd goal swaying a game for them. That's the type of
even
I
if
put in there.
Even if it's to not in shooting position, they've got some big guys at the back. I don't know what Grant Hanley's status will be, but he's using a handful in the air, and that a bit robust, isn't it?
Yeah.
He went off against United, didn't he? It didn't look too great for him for this. I can't imagine him.
He'll be playing, to be honest.
No, I think he come out with a sling on his arm, didn't he? So yeah.
It's like, oh.
It's going to be like Pele out of Road to Victory. So I was going over. I doubt it.
So what have you gone for anyway? Did you say 1-1?
Yeah, 1-1 I've gone for. The tip I've gone for is over 45 booking points. I think it's going to be slightly cagey, but I think there'll be a few openings. Like you said, like if they can play a bit more of, and open the slope in terms of creativity, then middle just take it on themselves to run the ball. You mentioned Douglas Luiz is one of them. McGinn definitely gets stuck into it. Matty Cash can do it. Matt Target does it.
Yeah.
And then you got the three, what probably would look like defending midfields if Cantwell doesn't play. Then there's definitely yellow cards in that team as well in Norwich. So I've gone for over 45 booking points, and I'm sure the referee swayed my decision on this, but off the top of my head, I can't remember who it was now. But I think he swayed my decision a bit more. He'll probably come back to me a bit. I think David Coote, who's an absolute arsehole, to be honest with you.
To be honest, he loves a buck in him, doesn't he, as well?
Yeah, he's in my top 3 hated referees, and we'll get on to another one after that, who just recently managed referee the Wolves game.
All right. Right then, brilliant. So on to the 8 o'clock kickoff. I don't understand why there's half an hour difference between just over 3 games, like every 15 minutes. It's stupid. So
I think they're all on BT as well, aren't they? I'm sure they are.
Yeah. You just kick them off at the same time, wouldn't you?
They want to get viewers on each channel when they kick off, probably, don't they? Yeah, we've had this view, we've had that view.
Probably, mate, yeah. Right, 8 o'clock, Manchester City and Leeds.
Yeah, well, could go on a bit of a rant about this, couldn't I? About Pep going on about Wolves playing anti-football against them.
Yeah.
But the truth is, I've said it myself. What would he do if he was a Wolves manager coming up against Man City? He wouldn't try and play like Man City or the Pep way, would he?
No.
We have to do something, and I expect Leeds to do the same to him this week as well.
Exactly. Yeah, is he going to be whinging again?
Yeah, I mean, Leeds are obviously well known to play good attacking football, but they've had a few injuries that's affected them. But they're still
trying to get some players back, Leeds.
Yeah, Rafinha's obviously back in, isn't he? Bamford was out, wasn't he? As we said.
Ayling back as well. He played really well over the last 2 games. He's been fantastic again. That Gelhardt kid's good one.
Yeah, he scored in the week, didn't he?
Yeah, he did, yeah.
At the weekend, sorry.
Say minus Bamford and one of the centre half. I think there's a centre half. Is it Click?
Calvin Phillips obviously missing, isn't he?
Who?
Calvin Phillips obviously missing, isn't
he? Oh,
he?
yeah, no, he is.
Yeah.
He's a defender as well. Is it Koch?
Oh, Robin Koch, yeah.
Yeah.
You didn't want to say it, did you?
I didn't know.
I don't even know if Levente has been playing recently. He's always getting injured. Even when he plays a game, he gets injured, isn't he?
He's a Robin Koch him. What an unfortunate thing.
I expect City to find it a little bit easy. I think the reason why I've gone for City, I've gone for City to win 3-0 on this one. I think the reason why I've gone for them to be a bit more comfortable is that Leeds just aren't as defensively as sound as what Wolves are.
Maybe.
I think we managed that game really well, and I'll get on to the Wolves beating the game, about how their fortunes went. But I think Leeds will give them a go. I think they'll go for it, but I just think City will just be a bit too much for them, and should be a comfortable win for them.
I've gone with 3-1.
3-1.
Yeah, I agree with everything you just said. Fancy Leeds to nick a goal though. Somewhere.
It's probably. I mean, like the City didn't really have that much trouble with us, but it's hard to say when they're down to 10 men. So to really affect that defence, it depends. What he might rotate the defence. It might be easier for Leeds to break them down. You could see Nathan Aki playing or something like that. So
I think Leeds are just going to go for it, mate. I just genuinely think Bielsa's just going to do what he does and go carry on regardless and just play like they do. And as I said many, many times, they've got weeks in them where they're going to win, where they might win 3 or 4-1. You've got weeks in them where they'll get battered 4 or 5-1, and then you'll get some drab draw. It's just like, it's weird with Leeds, but I'd take that as a Leeds fan, I'd take that because I tell you what, they don't half try playing. And you look through that, even the main 11, really, apart from your Rafinha, Calvin Phillips would walk into most teams, to be honest. Your goalkeeper, Melier, would definitely walk into most teams. He's fantastic. Defensively, they're not all that great. Luke Ayling's been brilliant. Cooper does a job, but I think that's where you can get at them.
He's a top championship defender, and
he's fantastic.
It sort of reminds me of Christophe Berra when he played for Wolves.
I remember him.
Got a bit of dirtiness about him, but he knows how to cope with defenders. But you can have the odd moment where if they've been completely done by a superstar, then they know about it. But he's a good defender. I'm not saying he's a championship player, but I think he's a top championship defender. But can do the job in the Premier League as well. Sort of like Grant Hanley in a way.
Yeah, absolutely like Hanley. Absolutely like him. Definitely like him. But in some games, it just doesn't work, does it? And I don't know. I think this type of game is where he'd really struggle. This is the type of game for. I think if Luke Ayling played there, and you had 2 full-backs in at the side of him, maybe, I think that could probably work against City. Play 3, pack the midfield out with 5, and then play 2 up top. That's what I'd do against City. Yeah. And
if Buck and Llorente were fit with match, like a good run of games with them, I think they'd be a lot better off, but they just can't keep them fit. So
that's the problem. Llorente's in and out, isn't he?
Yeah, losing defenders and having to swap and change it every game disjoints teams, doesn't he? You never really get a good run of clean sheets or anything if they're just, being separated. Because you have to, a lot of teams, you'll see a regular partnership, won't you? You won't really see many defences rotated around that much. So.
Absolutely. Because
it's all about understanding and communication at the back, isn't it?
Yeah, the more a defensive team plays, you want them to be in defence of anywhere else on the pitch. You get strikers changing quite a lot, get midfielders changing probably more than anyone. But in defence and your goalkeepers, you don't tend to change them because you want that, the more repetition they're doing and playing constantly and doing stuff at the same time as each other constantly, then you're getting stronger as a unit, especially at the back. And then you want to kind of instill that forward. But it's an example at Wolves, isn't it? Like that defence there I've seen for the last. I mean, with Kilman coming through now, he wasn't involved as much in the champion. Was he even involved in the championship? I think it was towards the end. Last 3 years, I've been seeing that defence really. They've been the mainstay for the most of it. Anything that's changed really is obviously Semedo came in to start last season. Good player.
He's come on leaps and bounds. A bit dodgy in his first year, but And then obviously about 8 Norwich come over Markel now.
Yeah.
Markel, I mean, he gives his all, but I think I'd rate Norwich over him every day.
Yeah. He's good at Nuri. I'm really impressed with him. Him and Kilman, you've got some good lads there.
Yeah, I'll say that actual core that's been playing all season together. That's why we're defending well. So, and that's what Leeds need. Is just a regular back three, or even if you're playing that back two, to just like get an understanding and a bit of communication going at the back, and they'll be okay.
I read that.
I will apologise to Leeds.
Yeah.
So they get.
I read that size lad. Me, I must admit.
Yeah, he's. I think he's coming for unnecessary criticism, but because I think that's because Bolly was on the edge of the team. People want Willie Bolly back in, but I think they're sort of scapegoating him as the man to be replaced there. But he does have a few.
Come up with some goals as well.
Yeah, he's definitely a big threat. Yeah,
that's what you want. Say once Bolly's fit again properly, I'd be playing Sice and Bolly, to be honest. I know Cody's obviously your captain, Mr. Wolves at the minute, but he's where you can get at Wolves.
Yeah, he has been. To be fair to Cody, the last 5 games or so, he's probably been one of the top 3 performers for Wolves. So he's actually.
He had a good game, the one I watched last week. I must admit, but.
Liverpool.
On the grand scheme of things, you're talking at 38 matches, and that's as consistent as he's probably been in a couple of years, 5 games. So
yeah, I think they want someone a bit more flexible in the middle. I think that's why he plays. I can't think of anyone that'd actually go in and take that role if he got suspended or injured. I did mention Donker before, but he's a lot more like turning the bus at the time. So. But he's a big guy as well, so he's probably not that easy.
He's a big lad, actually. I didn't realise how big he was until I seen him up against someone in the box. I was like, God, blimey, he's tall, him.
He's got to be about 6'3", I'd imagine.
Yeah. What's your betting tip for Man City and Leeds then, Lee?
I've gone for City to get a clean sheet in this one. I did it for the Chelsea one against Leeds before I got it wrong, but I'm hoping Man City will keep the clean sheet for this one. Get the tipping.
Ideal. Right, on to Wednesday the 15th then. So we've got 3 at 7:30 and 1 at 8 o'clock. So we'll go with the 7:30s. We've got Brighton versus your boys Wolves.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one to predict, I suppose, because Brighton haven't played for a little while now, have they?
No.
Had a bit of a rest. Can that sometimes be a good thing or a bad thing? I don't know. Maybe a bit of a match sharpness will be on our side.
Quite a hectic fixture schedule, really. So, especially when you've not been playing as regularly as others, I don't know. I just think.
Yeah, it could build up on them, but they might have had a bit of a rest heading up to this game. But sometimes most of our players should be used to the fact that they have played in the Europa League, and it's not completely new to them for most of them. Even if they haven't played Europa League for Wolves, I'm sure they've played European football somewhere, wherever they come from.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
So, I've gone for 0-0 on this one. We just don't look like scoring half the time. No Raul playing. Wang's been off form. Maybe if Traoré goes on an absolute mazy run and just somehow decides to know where the net is, then maybe. But I think our only hope would be scoring from a set play, to be honest with you. But Brighton are quite strong with a fair few big guys at the back. So then you've got our defence that's been pretty impressive. If we can be on top of our game in that, then I can't see many goals in this game. So I've gone for a 0-0.
A drab 0-0. Well, I'm going to break the mould. I'm going to say it's 2-1 to Wolves in this, mate. I think there's going to be a few goals.
Hopefully, let's say you never know. I mean, like goals can come from all sources, can't they? But penalty.
Always got to get this.
Yeah, and last season, this game last season was 3-3. at the Amex. So it was a really entertaining game. It's probably one you'd look at and think, no chance of goals in this. But yeah, at least we haven't got John Moss in controller, because he absolutely done us out that game against City. Obviously, I said I was going to mention the worst ref in the Premier League, and he's that guy. Time to hang your whistle up, mate, I think. He's an absolutely shocking ref. I don't know what the agenda was for referees this week, but it was to try and get the top four sorted, I think.
Yeah, I think you're probably right, to be honest. It seems that way. You say that a lot of penalty kicks this week, weren't there?
Yeah, and that one against Moutinho was never a penalty. I mean, even VAR had the Villa fan on it, so that didn't help either.
I know, yeah. Sour grapes.
I think they're trying to get us down, to be honest with you. I think they're just trying to get us out of the league. There's too many teams threatening that top six. We need to get Wolves out there.
Yeah, they need to finish 10th.
Yeah. I have been surprised by the points he picked up. I think he's done. People have sort of asked how Bruno's done in his start to his Wolves tenure, but I think he's, considering he's barely spent anything, done really well. He's sort of kept Nuno's shape, but yeah, the goals have dried up from where we started the season, having a lot of attempts on goal. Now we've sort of gone into that we're sort of going back into the Nuno mold now, but we need to just be a bit more threatening on the attack now. And I think if it ends up like that, I think there's going to be a point where they're going to have a bit of a restructure around the squad in terms of how they're going to approach games and be more effective. Brighton have played really well this year, but I think they've had a bit of a stoop. Maybe this break for them could be a good thing in terms of refreshing and recharging the batteries to try and get at Wolves and try and get back on track. Both teams had a good start to the season.
But these things never actually happen, do they?
No.
The amount of times I've gone, I tell you what, we've had a fairly free week, and everyone else has played, and we should be really fresh going into this. And it's like, wow, what have they just watched?
Yeah. I'm hoping that is the case. Anything can go either one of two ways, can't it? So I'm hoping that's the case.
Yeah, I bet.
So
go on then. What's your tip for this one then?
I've gone for Cucurella to be booked. He's a bit rash going into challenges. So he's only been booked 3 times, but I think that was in his first few games. So he's probably gone on a bit of a quieter run with his yellow cards. But yeah, but with his threat, with the threat coming up against, say, Fadama, who's playing, even if it's Podence or say Trincao, who's a bit lightweight, but he could probably draw a couple of fouls. I'll have him to get booked, and I'll pick one for the Wolves sides. I think Moutinho. I've been backing him the last few weeks to get one, I think.
Tell you what, he's going to start thinking you've got an agenda against him.
But it's the fact that he does. I mean, to be fair, in the last few games that I've watched us, when I have backed him to get booked, he's been lucky. I think he's just been a bit slow to get to the bloke. So if he'd had to caught the bloke in the last 2 games, he would have been booked. So if he catches one this time, then he will get booked. He seems to have a little bit of a streak in him where he just...
That little bit late.
Yeah. I think he's just trying to keep himself warm, to be honest with you, and just fly into someone. So yeah, it's coming.
Right then, the second of the 7:30 kickoffs then, we'll go with Burnley and Watford. This could be a good game.
Yeah, it'll be an interesting one. Well,
both need points.
Yeah. I think they've both got to go for it, to be honest. I don't think this is one where either of the managers can look back and think, well, we got to sit back here. So I'm going for a more entertaining game. I've gone for 2-1 for Burnley in this one.
Oh, 2-1
gone for those one. Obviously, they had to contain West Ham a week and Burnley, and I haven't. This is probably the only game I haven't seen any highlights from, so I don't actually know nothing about how that game panned out. Did you see any of it? Or
yeah, I saw a bit of it. Not too much. I've seen a bit of it.
Have you seen who had the better of the game? Or
to be honest, I think West Ham definitely had the better of the game. But Burnley, I don't know. Rice had an absolute would have been a worldie.
Yeah.
Which just shaved just over the top of the netting. they looked all right, but the thing was, they got nullified, and I think Antonio could have been there till next Tuesday, and he probably wouldn't have scored. You know, it was one of those games. He didn't really have that great a game, to be honest.
Seems to do it more at home, doesn't he, Antonio, rather than on the road. I've said it before.
That, actually.
Yeah, I've said before, he's always been ineffective down at Molineux. Like, was one I've mentioned it before, one of the worst individual performances I've seen. But you know, if he's sort of been ineffective at Turf Moor and places like that, maybe he just doesn't fancy it. I don't know, but he just doesn't get that service, I'd imagine, on the away days. But when he's at the London Stadium, he's usually on the ball, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, more so in front of his own fans, definitely. Yeah, definitely. I've never really properly noticed, but you're absolutely right, actually.
But Watford have got to try and get a response. I thought they did okay in parts against Brentford. I watched a fair bit of that game. You know, it is a tough place to go to, and looked like it was. I can't remember if we both went for 1-1, but I'm sure I went for 1-1 on that game against Brentford.
1-1, weren't we? Yeah, we did.
Yeah, and obviously the last minute winner sort of stopped us from a perfect start, didn't it?
No.
But yeah.
To be honest, I rate that Dennis lad though.
Well, he actually comes into my. This is a new tip I've gone for on this one. Is most betting sites have it, but I went on William Hill and they've got like a build your odds section.
Fucking, he's branching out.
No, yeah. I thought I'd check it to see what the odds were and you know, see what comes up. So what I've gone for is Tarkowski to get a shot on target, because I think a few defenders can give it at Watford's defence, especially on set plays, and Burnley will try and play off that. So if Tarkowski just gets a shot on target, and
even if he gets like some off a corner.
Yeah, that's what I mean, like a free kick or a corner, he manages to get on target, and Dennis gets a shot on target. That's odds of 4-1. That is, you know, Dennis couldn't be more likely to get that shot on target, surely, if they get the attack. So, but on top of that, Tarkowski, you know, he's their main aerial threat for me. Ben Mee's decent in the air. Probably get better odds on that. But,
for Tarkowski.
Yeah, well, I think he always looks like the guy they're aiming for set plays. So if they both get a shot on target at 4-1, I think that's 5-1. That, yeah, pretty good odds.
Ideal. Right then, the last of the 7:30 on Wednesday is Crystal Palace and Southampton. This could be go one of two ways as well. It could be an absolute goal fest or a 0-0.
Well, they're saying that Southampton were on top of Arsenal until they scored, and then it just seemed to go all against them, didn't it? And
yeah, massively, yeah.
Palace were pretty dominant against Everton.
Played well. Played really well.
Making Benitez look a little silly there at the moment, aren't they? Yeah, having Will Hughes is a good guy to have back in the middle. He hasn't been, I think it's his first start for the club at the weekend. So he adds a little bit more.
First start. He came on a sub in the game before. Can't remember who he played.
Yeah, I think they did mention that it was his first start, but it's his second appearance. So he's just come back into fitness. But he's it'd be interesting to see how he does with Palace. Obviously, he did have a season or two with Watford in the Premier League, didn't he? But you know, he's got creativity to him, but he's got a nasty streak in him, and I'm quite glad to see him back because he'll come up in my tip because he's quite a nasty player, to be honest with you. At times when he wants to be, and he picks up a lot of yellow cards, so you see where I'm heading with that one.
I definitely.
But Southampton, looking at their team on paper, I mean, they got Adam Armstrong, who hasn't scored since the Anthem game of the season. He is an handful, but I'm looking at that team, and the one that they had at the weekend, like Nathan Teller, he seems to have a go at teams, but there's no end product to what he's doing.
He does all hard work, and then there's nothing at the end of it.
Yeah, I believe there's no Shay Adams, was it, at the weekend? I don't know what's happened with him. They had Brozier up top, didn't they, with Armstrong? So they seem to be lacking goals. So I've gone for a Palace 2-0 win on this.
I've gone with 2-2.
2-2. Interesting. But we'll see if they got. I mean, like Shay Adams plays, and they have a bit more creativity from the middle of the park, then you probably will see Southampton scoring. But
I fancy this game be a bit like that. I don't know. I just find I looked at Crystal Palace and obviously look good, but
you don't see them winning consistently, do you?
No.
And they are both draw. I think, well, definitely Southampton been draw specialists. So I'm sure Palace picked up a fair
Palace
few.
have picked up with first share of draws.
Yeah.
So
I think, for me, I think they were really impressive, Palace, at the week. So they should carry that momentum against the Southampton team that took the first 15 minutes to Arsenal, but just capitulated after they conceded. So be interesting. It'd be an interesting one to see how that one pans out.
Yeah. So go on then. What is the mighty tip then?
So I've gone for Will used to get booked because he used to be my old favourite for Watford to pick up, even for Derby, to pick up a yellow card. I always used to have him. And then obviously I'll pick a Southampton player as well. I think because Zaha's mainly played on the left-hand side, so I'd keep an eye on Livramento to get booked because Zaha loves to...
He loves to get someone booked, doesn't he?
Yeah. He was trying it at the weekend with Coleman, wasn't he? And and Delph as well. Yeah, he was getting Delph involved a bit as well. So, I mean, if you're going to look at a centre midfielder to probably go and kick lumps out of him, Romeo, if he's playing.
Romeo, I know. I was just about to say, and he's definitely got one in him. So, right, okay, then that's the 7:30s, and then 8 o'clock, Arsenal and the Iron Hammers.
The Iron Hammers. Sounds like an American football team, man. This I'll tell you what result I've gone for straight away, and the reason for it is 1-1 I've gone for. Basically Arsenal, I think they'll lose, and West Ham going to Burnley and not picking up 3 points there. But from what I heard of Southampton taking the game to Arsenal those first 15 or so minutes, if West Ham do that, they'll score. But I expect Arsenal to sort of fight back. So the way I'm seeing it pan out is probably West Ham taking the lead and Arsenal getting back into it. But Arsenal so inconsistent with their results are just all over the place at the time. I mean, like when you expect them, I mean, teams that you expect them to beat, they are beating. But when it's coming to I've seen it with the Palace game, like a team that could have actually had an impressive start to the season. They've looked comfortable at times and then threw it away. So it'd be a big point to prove to try and beat West Ham, because they could actually bring Arsenal back into the Champions League race if they win this as well, and a lot of other teams if West Ham lose.
Yeah,
absolutely. I think they've got a little bit of a cushion, but it won't be a one-horse race to get fourth place with this. There's going to be a fair few teams. Obviously, Spurs have got a couple of games in hands now.
Yeah, because they go fourth there in Tottenham if they win their games in hand.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how West Ham approach it. Arsenal will go for the win, but they've just got to be a bit more clever, I think, in their game management. So if they do take the lead, then they can't sit back. I think they've got to go at West Ham again, because West Ham will just come on to them, and I think if they allow that, then West Ham will score.
Yeah.
But the way I'm seeing it is if Arsenal start that first 15 minutes the way they did against Southampton, then West Ham could get an early goal. What are you thinking?
I've gone 1-1 as well.
Gone 1-1.
Yeah, and I think it'll be the other way around. I think Arsenal will score first, and then I think they'll just disappear off into the oblivion like they usually do. I think
that's usually the way they do it.
Yeah.
But
to get really complacent, and then all of a sudden the other team comes into it. And I think I might even go further and put a tip in myself. I can foresee something here. Arsenal to score first, West Ham to score second, and West Ham to miss a penalty to make it 2-1. You're
just going on the form of Ramsdale there, or if you say penalty take, obviously Noble when he plays, well done. Is it Fornells maybe, or Lanzini?
Antonio maybe. Do you know what I mean?
If it was flicking it up and heading it in, maybe, but we have a bit more nerves of steel, I'd imagine.
No, would he not be Declan Rice?
Could be. I'm not too sure. I'd have to look up on that. I can't remember the last time I had a penalty without Martin Noble, to be honest with you. I'm thinking more along the lines of Lanzini or Fornells, but it just depends whether they start the game as well, doesn't it? There's so many players that
I'm
could
just
take a
trying to
penalty.
think whether I've ever seen Fornells take a penalty.
It could have been Lanzini, I'm thinking of, because they both look the same.
He's taken a penalty, yeah.
Yeah.
He scored one the other week.
But he's just like in and out the team every now and again, isn't he? So
That's the thing. Will he start? I don't think he'll start. I'd be surprised.
you'll get good odds on that, though. I mean, like it's usually about 3 or 4 to 1 for a penalty to be in the game. So unless you're Man United, then it's nearly odds on.
Hey, we ain't had that many, you know.
Not recently, no. To be fair.
Oh.
We did last game, so.
Yeah.
It's usually them games you want to put the bet on, to be honest with you. When Man U are playing a lower team, fighting for the lives, I could see that coming. I could definitely see a 1-0 coming. So
I couldn't. I thought we'd be a bit more ruthless and a bit more in control of the game, really, to be honest. But we just weren't.
it was a chance. Yeah, it was a chance. Well, as the game was going on, I see the chances of Norwich was missing, and you see it so many times. A top team will just punish you, and they'll nick the one or maybe get second at the end. But obviously, there's that.
So go on then. You can give me yours now then.
What have I gone for? I've just gone for both teams to score on that one. Nice and easy.
Nice and easy. Right then, on to Thursday, 16th of December. We've got 15 minutes apart again for some strange reason. I don't know. The 7:30 which is Leicester versus Tottenham.
Yeah, if Spurs ever play again this season, because if it's going with they'll be playing in the World Cup at this rate as well. Obviously, you got Leicester have got cases going on around the cases now, so it could be called off in their. I wouldn't say
it's all going off. It's all going off. No one's going to have players left. They're all going to die of COVID. Oh dear.
I think Spurs are sending in spies into these clubs to get them infected with
sure
COVID, aren't they? I think it could go against Spurs. This Leicester, obviously, good 4-0 win, looked pretty good. I mean, like I think it was was it the third or fourth goal that Tillman scored? He whacked in the top corner.
Third goal, wasn't it?
The third goal, what a move that was, and you know, to set up Daka for his as well. You know, just Maddison's in top form at the moment.
Yeah, going forward, they look like they've got goals, mate, massively Leicester, but defensively, they don't look that great, to be honest.
No, I think, because I've gone for Spurs to score in this game, so it's like a bit of a. I mean, Soranko sort of grew in confidence as the game went on, but as I was watching the first part of it, he seemed a bit nervy again. I just don't know what's happened to the guy, to be honest with you, in terms of how composed he was before. They've lost Johnny. Well, looks like they've lost Johnny Evans again now. So
he's injured, isn't he?
They had to put Ndidi at the back in the last game. Did you see Did you see Castagne's back pass to Schmeichel?
Oh man, no. I was like, oh no.
Fair play to Schmeichel.
He's done well. He come out quick.
Yeah, he's but he seems to have control. He seemed to know what he had to do to stop that ball from going over the line. It just looked a bit. If it was Peter Schmeichel, I don't think he'd have got to it.
He honestly, God blimey, he got back quick, man.
Yeah. I'd say if it's Peter, he's about twice the size of his son. I mean, Casper's a big lad, but Peter's probably twice the size of him, wasn't he? So.
I'm watching it, I'm going, oh man, that's a terrible back pass.
So yeah, there's definitely issues with the defence. I mean, like you can't call Castagne's back pass a defensive issue, but it's mistakes.
Yeah. In
there as well. So, and then you got young Luke Thomas. It probably looks the best of the lot of times.
Yeah, actually. So if they get Fofana back, they get James Justin, is it?
Yes, he was very good before his injury. Yeah, I'd have said he'd been a dark horse to the England squad if
I agree.
They carried on that season. Yeah.
Both
but yeah,
really nasty injuries though, haven't they?
Yeah, the young age as well. It's a shame for them because Leicester are looking really solid. I mean, like most weeks, I'd probably have Leicester to keep a clean sheet with that defence that they had back then.
Yeah,
But,
they look really tight, man. Honestly, it's rare for having so many young lads in the defence, but it worked. They were
Vestergaard come in and got injured as well, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. I know.
Yeah. Completely forgot he signed for them, and then he just come back into me.
Yeah, he's hardly featured.
No, he had his first couple of games, and then sure he's been struggling himself. So sort of going for a bit of a Leeds one, and what I mentioned about disjointment in defences, like, there's not enough games for them to play together. There's all injuries going there, and everywhere, and then they're struggling to keep out goals.
So go on then. What's your tip for this then?
I've gone for Leicester. I've gone for Leicester to win 2-1.
2-1.
Yeah.
1-1.
1-1. It's probably one I was looking at being a draw at first, but then I was thinking, will Leicester carry on that momentum, look good attacking, and then Spurs probably go weather a bit of a storm with them at times, I think. Because they're not all out attack at the moment, all the Spurs. So probably once Conte gets his ideas properly across, there might be, but that match sharpness has got to come with it now as well, obviously having a long time off.
Yeah.
Leicester could hurt them. So the tip was to go for over 9.5 corners, so 10 corners wins it. I'm just thinking should be end to end.
I think it will be quite a long game. Two shocking defences.
Yeah, the Spurs have been a bit better defensively with Conte there, but yeah, I think Leicester will definitely score. Obviously, had them to win the game, so I think with the attackers they've got in form like Barnes, Maddison, Tielemans, Daka.
Yeah,
Vardy's done a little bit off them. Yeah. So yeah, I think there'll definitely be goals in this, and it should be a game that's action packed really. So I think the corners will come through the odd few attacking movements.
Ideal. Right then, what about 7:45 kick-off, which is Chelsea and Everton? It's only going one way, this to me.
I'll say that. I expected Chelsea to absolutely blow Leeds out of the park, to be honest with you, but they haven't been great recently, have they? They've made hard work of it.
But Leeds in possession look miles better than Everton doing.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Everton in their defeat to Palace was exactly the way they performed against Wolves when they lost. And if they carry on that approach into this game, then Chelsea will look like their old self because. But I've gone for Chelsea to win 3-0. Everton just don't look convincing at all, do they?
No.
Going for that, they were terrible against Palace. It's got to be a game, but
awful.
If they're putting the performance like that again, I'll put a bet on that Benitez will be on after this one.
I'm literally just about to say, I can see Chelsea winning, and I can see Benitez being sacked in the same breath. I think it's going to be 2-0 Chelsea, and I think Benitez will be gone.
If they don't make it look like it's hard fought defeat, because I can't see them getting anything out of it, then yeah. But I don't know. I suppose it depends on they play at the weekend as well. I can't remember who they're playing, to be honest with you. Everton.
They played the weekend just gone.
The one coming up after.
Oh right.
After. Don't know.
I don't either. I'd be just guessing off the top of my head.
I think I'm sure it popped up on Sky Sport. I'm sure they've got a tough run of fixtures coming up again. So it's not looking too great for old Rafa.
No, and the problem is, you look through that team now. It's not all that great, is it? Really?
No.
Everton's obviously. I like Damari Gray. I think he was a great signing for him to get him, and Andros Townsend. The pair of them, they're fantastic. I do rate them. I rate Doucouré, great central midfielder. Not an Alan fan at all.
Really, yeah, he's a bit of a mopper-upper, isn't he? But
I just think he's a bit lightweight, really. They've no one who can put a ball in the net now. Calvert-Lewin's injured. And at the back, Jordan Pickford does all right. He's worthy enough. But that back line for me is really where they struggle, man.
Yeah, I've always liked Mason Holgate's gone about the game, but I think he's not a top end. I'll probably have him more as a right back, to be honest with you, than the centre. I think he gets a bit bullied a bit. I think Godfrey's a good lad, but he's playing out of position.
Yeah.
He's had a bit of a falling out with Luca Dean, hasn't he? Bradford by
Yeah.
the same way. But even he's been off his game, you know. He's a bit too rash himself, just getting booked every game and
So on
losing.
paper, with Keane, Yerry Mina, maybe, Luca Dean, and
Godfrey usually in the middle.
Or Godfrey, right? They should do all right, but they don't. They don't. And I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is about them, but I just don't think for the amount of money they've spent over time, you know, they've spent quite a lot of money over time, really, Everton, you know, and a fairly rich club, you know.
It's almost seeming like a retirement home for players, isn't it? And managers, because look at the managers they've had there and they still can't turn that club around. They've had the Champions League. They've had only Champions League winning managers now.
I'd have persisted with Big Dunk if it were me. I'd be like, he's the only one that's got a bit of passion and fight back in this team that I've seen in the last 10 years. You know, when he had them for whatever it was, 4 or 5 games, maybe 6 games at maximum, they looked like they were well up for it, mate.
They did, and I think that's the main thing about him. I think they just respect the fact that he wants them to fight for the badge, doesn't he?
Yeah, absolutely.
He might not be a tactical genius, but I think sometimes teams just need that bit of a boost because he seems like he's an arm around the players that he'll look after his own, won't he? So
let's put it into context. So you've got Bar City, Chelsea, and Liverpool, right? Every other game is winnable if you put if every player on the pitch puts their heart and soul into it and fights and puts 110% in from start to finish. You know, anything's possible. It's football. We've seen it on many, many occasions. Leicester winning the Premier League. Who'd have thought? But they did. So,
well, you can even add the top 3 teams to that, because when obviously Wolves do it against City from 2-0 down against them, you put everything into it, you win the game. I know it's against 10 men on the day.
But I'm on about in regards to all-out grit and determination rather than skill and ability.
They do seem to give up easily, Everton, and it's. I mean, to be fair, I'd say give up easy because that's probably a bit unfair because I think they're one of the top teams to actually coming from behind, from grabbing the goal down, and that's probably a bit unfair in an extent. But then once they seem to get that equaliser and seem to concede again, then it's I don't know. It might be a lack of self-belief with them, and maybe you need someone like Dunk there to. Well, I'd imagine he's still a voice there with Rafa there because he's their coach, isn't he? And coaches are probably a lot more vocal than what your managers are, especially with Rafa. He's probably a bit more reserved in the way he barks on at players, isn't he? So you don't really ever see him like going like that on the touchline and all this, but really ever see him having a go at players.
Dodgy Spaniards chatting again. Anyone know what he's on about?
It wouldn't surprise me to see Dunk there if Rafa goes to the end of the season. But that would depend on results after as well for Dunk. I think they'll give him a few and then see what they're going to do because I'll say how many top managers are they at that club now? You know, you've got the manager who's now number 1 team in world football. Maybe a bit like, Belgium aren't the best team in the world, but he has got them to world number 1.
Yeah.
Koeman, who's probably his stocks fell a little bit in recent years, but he has done good jobs at other places. Ancelotti, Champions League winning manager. Benitez is a Champions League winning manager. It was before Martinez. I'm trying to think who it was now. They get through that many years.
Martinez.
I can't think. Was it Marco Silva? Marco Silva, I think.
Marco Silva.
Yeah. Well, let's say that. I mean, he's doing all right at Fulham, but
all right at Watford.
Yeah, he
Marco
come over
Silva at Fulham, is he? No.
Yeah, he's a manager.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
You must have been under a rock that week.
Yeah, he's obviously gone top of the league, but I think they're having a bit of a stuttering spell at the moment, like drawing a lot of games.
Mm-hmm.
Just drawing a lot.
Right then, well, let's quickly shuffle on then. So, what's your in-game tip for that then?
Another sort of new one. It's a bit of a combination. This one is one that I see on every Premier League games now. Especially on William Hill. It's usually averaging around. Depends what the game is, but averaging around 5-1 this year. So it's over 2 goals, over 3 cards, and over 10 corners.
God blimey, proper on one there.
And it's one that I've been doing a lot regularly recently, and usually on the Super Sunday games I'll get these, especially the televised games. It makes it a bit more interesting to watch as well. Because if you put that bet on, then you're like, you get excited over a corner or a foul. Like, yes, come on. And then it ends up 0-0 and fucks it all up.
What's numpty getting excited over a corner for? They're like, yeah!
you get it on the adverts now, don't you? Someone celebrating the corner and everyone's looking. Yeah, and then it'll end up 0-0 and mess the old bet up.
Yeah, probably. That's what happens with me anyway. Let's just put it that way. So anyway, let's on to the last game before we wrap up on Thursday, and that's the 8 o'clock kickoff, which is Liverpool and Newcastle at Anfield.
Yeah, it doesn't look good for Newcastle though. I think this is. I might go wrong with Everton's fixture. I think it was Newcastle's upcoming fixtures that look really bad for them.
Oh yeah, they've not got a great run in at all.
Yeah, you never know with Newcastle. They might just bring up they've beat City in recent years, haven't they? And it ain't going to happen here. Liverpool in the last 2 games haven't been that great, to be honest with you.
They haven't. But come on.
Yeah, playing new. If Leicester can do this against them and keep a clean sheet against Newcastle, I can't see them hurting Liverpool too much. It was 4-0, wasn't it? Leicester game against Newcastle.
Yeah. I literally reckon we're not 4-1. 4-0. 4-1. 4-1.
4-0, I think.
Was it 4-0?
I remember Newcastle scoring. Yeah, I think it was 4-0.
Yeah, it was. It might have been 4-0 actually. I think you're right.
Yeah, it was 4-0.
Yeah. I fancy Newcastle scoring again.
Do you?
Yeah.
Can't see it. Really can't see it.
I'm going to go with Callum Wilson to score, and I'm going to say 5-1.
Yeah, I've gone 4-0 to Liverpool. Yeah, I think they'll just be camped. If they had Villa camped in their area, and a little bit, obviously coming to Molyneux was a bit different because it's an away game as well. If it was at Newcastle, I might have had Newcastle to knock in the goal, but I think they'll just be camped in Newcastle's half, to be honest with you. And that's probably, where they could get their goal from Newcastle if they did score is attacking, but they've got to be really clinical with it.
I fancy him scoring. I fancy him goal. But as I say, I fancy it to be absolute battering.
Yeah. I'll say they haven't been as convincing Liverpool, but I think this is one that probably give them a bit of mojo back, to be honest with you.
You've got a chance to look at it. Liverpool is improving the goal difference, because them 3 are going to be tight up there. It's going to come down to the odd point or 2 in it between them 3. And so, and obviously, all depends on what points they get between each other, them 3.
Yeah, definitely.
Because they're running away with it. And whoever, the rest is like between Wolves, West Ham, Arsenal, Tottenham, and United for the other spot, in my opinion.
Yeah, I wouldn't have us in the reckoning. I think that's around about mid-table there. I think Leicester might come back into it and stuff like that. I can't see us doing much, but
unless they get some people fit really quickly, Leicester, I can't.
Yeah, I think they've picked up a bit of good momentum. We mentioned about the defence, that might be their frailty, but yeah, I can't see. I can just see Liverpool getting their mojo back in this one. So the tip I've gone for this one is Liverpool winning over 2.5 goals.
Ideal.
That is Liverpool to score over 2.5 goals, by the way.
Ideal. Right, well, that concludes this round of fixtures. So, as we always say to you, with these betting tips, don't put every single one on. Well, you can put every single one if you...
Yeah. Stick a quid on it, mate. Like a lottery ticket, won't it?
But we'd say pick some out and maybe do a few of them on the different tickets, maybe. You know, but in all, done all right, Lee.
Yeah, I've, last set of games was probably my worst one for tips.
Yeah,
so I need to come back a little bit there.
In general, you've done very well.
Yeah, bit of a shocker last game, but you're going to get them, aren't you? You know.
Yeah. You can't always. You don't always go according to plan. You can't predict everything. You say some weeks really throw it completely, spin it over and throw it on its head because you go, wow, who'd have thought that? I've had many of them actually over the last 18 months. You go, oh.
Yeah, like I said on previous shows, I mean, like, it's no point me saying, like, if we've got Liverpool versus Newcastle, I'm saying go for Liverpool win because you're not going to make no profit on it. So these are ones that I'm looking at to be a bit more profitable. So, you know, that's probably why you probably on average probably get about 6 out of 10, 5 out of 10. Right, it's just picking the right ones, isn't it? So
yeah, definitely.
But for value, you know, if you're picking the right ones, then you're going to get a good return.
Yeah. Superb. Right, guys. Well, thanks for tuning in. Please like, share, and subscribe. Click on the bell button to keep up to date with all our shows and all our content that we're going to put. As time goes on and we get through Christmas and we get to the other side of things, we're going to get slightly a bit more adventurous, maybe, you know. But stressful time of year, don't need the heavy load that we sometimes get. So for the minute, it's what it is. But we'll have another show for you for the weekend's games. So I'll see you in a few days, Leroy.
Yeah, I'll see you in a few days, mate.
Good to see you.
And you.
We'll get too stressed out at work.
I'll be all right. I'll never get stressed out. Just get tired.
So thanks for tuning in. Look after yourselves and we'll see you soon.
Cheers. See ya.